source?
So, of course, at the new school, we have an opportunity for sponsorship, and we wanted to, the only two really sponsors that are in the area are Pepsi and Coke. We did ask for both of them to present us with something. Coke was the only one who did present us with that opportunity. So what they came back, our AD put together a great presentation for them, and they came back with just about everything that he asked for Coca-Cola. This is just for information purposes. Um, and what they came back with, they wanted branding opportunity in the gym with the scoreboard and branding opportunity on the front of the school with our marquee sign. And they are paying, I'm gonna just pass this last, they're gonna pay $30,000 for that branding. They're gonna give us a rebate estimate of $15,000. This is a 10-year agreement. That would start at the beginning of July and go through 10 years. The full service vending commission that we're anticipating getting is $66,000. The in-kind marketing support will be $20,000 and $5,000 worth of donated product and $20,000 worth of equipment for a total value of $156,000 over the 10-year agreement.
That's good.
Yes. And if Mr. Reese can tell you that that is more than a fair deal. He's a pet. He worked for both of them, Coke and Pepsi. Okay, but $30,000 cash will come to us upon immediate signing of this contract, and that money will go back into the athletic department. All of these funds will go back into the athletic department, and I think they saw value in what our athletic director is bringing to the table. That's why he attached the showdown. We have 36 teams right now signed up to be in the showdown. That's just high school. He also has a middle school tournament coming, and one other tournament. And so the production that they saw, the value that they saw in the school was the amount of course, items sold that we could sell. Our high school campus right now is doing 144 items a month, which is very high. So when they put in the calculations of the school, at the new school, 700 students, they're more than getting their money's worth. But there's also some other things that they agreed to do. They're going to do the signage on the back side of the cafeteria when the sun comes in. They're going to do all of the branding on that for us as well, and the cafeteria doors. And I think it's a great partnership that they have presented to us. And again, like I said, the value is $156,000 over 10 years. Great salesman. I think again, it's going to be a real partnership. And I'll lend way to Mr. Ricks giving his thoughts on that.
I think it's a good proposal. I think they could have done better because we're the premier school in San Andrew Parish. And sometimes when they see a new school, they take advantage of us. And there's some things that, it's a good contract. As compared to the Pepsi contract, it's not as good as the Pepsi contract in the area, but Pepsi didn't step to the plate for whatever reason. So I think we gotta start with this and build on it. Yeah, because in all honesty, 30,000 is a good number. But when you break that down over a 10-year period, that's not a good number. Because we're gonna grow as a school, we're gonna grow as a even if you don't have products available during the day, only at events, we're going to use more product because we have football, we have basketball, we have adult sports. So our usage will exceed what they're projecting. So when it does that, we got to make sure that we hold them accountable and say, okay, we've exceeded this 450 cases. Let's talk about increasing that percentage from 15% to 20% or whatever. So that's where we got to be on top of our game as far as holding them accountable. And to be honest with you, their product is going to be about $10 a case higher than the competition. If you're paying $32 a case for 20 ounces from them, Pepsi would have been 23, and if we had to go to Sam's, it would be 20, you know, because of the contract we had tied in with them. But, so they know what they're doing. And, I know the salesperson and the school rep, and I know the general manager is a guy that I trained back in Baton Rouge a few years ago. So if we ever have any issues, we're going to go to the general manager. We're not going to deal with the sales guy. But that's a good contract. It is a good contract. Anybody, you know, once you look at it, yes, sir.
No, if it's possible for me, I normally buy $1,000 Coke. So, can I buy it from y'all?
Yes, you can.
Yes, yes, you can.
You can.
Yes, you can.
At the price that I'm gonna get from
Yeah.
one or somebody.
Oh, you're gonna get a better price than
Well,
small.
okay, all right.
Yeah, there's opportunity for fundraising,
There's all
in
types
the
of
campaign,
fundraisers,
so,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, there are all types of fundraisers. There are things like, just take the band, for instance. Say they want to do the half liter, which is a 16-ounce bottle, and that's a fundraiser for the band, any organization on campus. And we call it a truckload sale. And we take like maybe 3 weeks or whatever for the kids to go out and try to do it around holidays, because that way uncles and aunts and cousins coming in from Houston and everywhere you know, they'd be happy to buy a case. They'd rather give you a case of, you know, buy a case and stuff. So you do the promo, and with that money, you get a better price on the bulk sale, and it's called a truckload sale. And they would come out and they would actually put it in your car, they'll bring the truck out and say, we have a Saturday set aside for the event. And they would actually, you come up and you had 10 cases, they take those 10 cases, put them in your car, you drive off the next car up. So there are ways to make more money for the school besides just the vending and the activities we have as far as athletics. So that's, you know, we need to put that in that's something that we definitely want to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are ways to make it be a better profit, more of a profit for us. That way. All right. Okay. Any other questions about the Coke proposal? Okay. Do we need to vote on that? No, we don't. Okay. All right. Well, it's Coca. It is Coca-Cola, and for those of you who don't drink Coke, now you start drinking Coke.
So is it just Coke products?
Huh?
Coke
Yes.
products?
Coke
All
products.
Coke
But
products.
I thought, yeah, Coke has Sprite too, though.
Coke, Sprite,
Yeah, okay.
in St. Landry.
Powerade or
this Coke,
Gatorade?
It will be Powerade.
Powerade.
It will be Powerade, Gatorade, Dasani water, Sprite, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, and all of the Coke
Dr.
products.
Pepper or are they
No,
Pepsi?
Pepsi has the
Pepsi.
Dr. Pepper.
Kids.
They have the, Dr. Check. You might
I'm
Kill
Dr.
it.
check
Pepper.
with me, I'll get you a cup.
Okay.
All right.
I know sell.
And now, next item is CEO update, Ms. Lewis.
So I think you guys, if you haven't had a chance to pass by the building, please do so on your way out. We are almost complete on the outside. Paint colors are up. They're working on the inside floor. When I went by there today, everything is going as planned. We are still on track for a May 15th turnover. The only discrepancy that we have, I'll say discrepancy, is the contractor did not put the FF&E, the furniture, in the package. So, we are working with 3 companies right now to get a better price on the furniture. I think we've doing it down to 2. Wayfair and MOII are the 2 that we're dealing with right now. But it's looking like we're gonna have to put something towards the FF&E for it to be complete. I have cut back on a lot of things. I think one wing I only put 18 desks because I'm not anticipated to use it till next year. And so we can fill in those gaps, after. But again, my concern is always what our bottom line looks like to our investors, which are leaseholders. And so, again, I think we're gonna probably have to put some money towards it, between $75,000 and $100,000 towards the FF&E to make sure that we fully equip the new school. There are some things that are transpiring that may help us with that. St. Landry Charter is closing, so this depends on when some of the items they have come online. We are in order to be able to get some of those items, which will be free of charge, just moving those items. But that really depends on when that's going to come online. For example, some of the kitchen equipment we may be able to get, but if it doesn't come online in time, then we got to proceed with what we have in terms of our already on the scale to go in. And you'll see once we get into the financials, I'll bleed right into that. We are good financially, so we don't have any issues financially in supporting this FF&E field. It's just, again, like I said, my concern is always making sure we have the numbers for our lenders, which I've been in close contact with our finance company, Kevin Cox, to make sure we're on track for that and on scale with that. But we don't want to have a brand new building and drag in mismatched desks and mismatched furniture. Right. And so, but I'll let you know what that final number is before we can partake in that. They are supposed to have back that bid tomorrow from the second company, which I think with Wayfair we're probably going to be at where we don't have to give that much. And I'm good with their product. We're just waiting on, we had a meeting today to finalize numbers on, make sure we had the right numbers on what goes in each classroom and desks and things like that. So I'm expecting their bid back tomorrow or the next day. And I will let you guys know at the next board meeting where we fall in terms of what we have to give, if we have to give anything. Because the other thing that is impacting that is the football field. We want to make sure that we have enough funds to put in the practice field. And that came in at around 120, maybe at the beginning of the year, and now when they went back to solidify the bid, it came back at 145. So that was a price increase, I'm sure, with what's going on in our world today. The reason why it went up slightly, but he is checking those numbers to verify why it went up and what actually went up. There may be some things we can cut out of that as well. One of the things is that the field will go in June, but it won't be ready to be used until the next school year because of the way that the grass grows and things like that. So one of the things we may be able to cut off of that is striping at this time, since it's not going to be used, and maybe the bleachers, since we're not using it during this school year. And we can come back and add those things in. That would still be on bill for rebuilding hope. We just wouldn't put it in right now. Okay, so those are some things that we could look at cutting back on as well. Any questions about that? As you can see, our gates are in. We're waiting on the motors to. They changed the motors. They wanted to put in a different type of motor that was easier to get parts for. So they changed the motors to a more viable motor that was in our area to be fixed if we had some issues with it. But it should be finished within the next 2 weeks. And security people will be over here to do their part. That is the last part, besides the painting of the building, the gym. We're on track with those things. Any questions?
Question, but just a note, when y'all start to look at furniture, like the desk and things of that nature, to look at what year it was produced.
Okay.
Because when you go back next year, you want to know that it's not old stock, it's going to be out of stock.
I did ask that question, but I was certainly, the year part, I would take note of that. That's a good. So that they match, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And cleaning friendly?
Yes.
Like it won't break down?
Yes.
Depending on certain products used or not used?
Yes, I think we got good quality products from both companies. That was one of the things that Damien, our project manager, wanted to make sure of with both companies. that we were comparing apples to apples, and pretty much they're using the same companies for the furniture. A lot of it is HON, HON, if you heard of them, and SoCo. So they're pretty much apples to apples. There's a few things that are a little bit differently, but it's pretty much the same quality furniture, which is commercial quality product, something that's not gonna break down, within a couple of years. And also there's warranties from both companies, so that's a good thing. And they're gonna come in and actually put it all together, place it where it's supposed to go and all of that. So I'm excited about that piece, because I have heard some schools that had to actually put their own stuff together. Yeah. And yeah, and morale. And then you don't know how that's gonna get put together, right? So,
I always have extras.
yeah. So they're doing installation and placement and all of those things. I'll go right into the finances, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
So, on your sheet finance report, you'll see at the front, Kevin and I put together these, charts just to make, so you could have a visual effect of what was happening with the budget. Just a quick view. And so you'll see these every month. I think I mentioned this last time. The first one is cash flow. The yellow line is where we don't want to be under that yellow line, right? That yellow line is the bottom line for our finances in terms of meeting the standards for not only our current budget, but also for our builder. And right now you can see in July, the prior year through September, we kind of had a decrease, then we went up a little bit, and then in October we came back down. And a lot of that is because at the end of the year, there is this ebb and flow where you get paid for students after February, and then they deduct for October 1. So that's kind of where you see the increase and then the slight decrease. But as you can see, from October through February, we've been constant in terms of funding. We are nowhere near the yellow line, so we are good on cash flow. The second box, days cash, you generally want to have somewhere around 60 days of cash on hand. And we are well above that. We are at around 110. The yellow line is where we don't want to go beneath. Okay, and we're not anywhere near that. The benchmark is less than 60, which is where the yellow line is, and we're somewhere around 110 days of cash flow within our budget. The fund balance, that blue line is where we are somewhere between 55 and 60%. The yellow line is where we do not want to be, which is a 7.5%, and we are well above that 7.5%. Like I said, around 58 to 60% is where we are, so we are good on our fund balance. And then the current ratio, we are in the blue line, and that line really matches our cash flow. If you can see that line kind of dips to kind of the same with our cash flow. So that says we're in good shape. We don't want to be below the yellow line, which is 1.1. The general, if you're at 1.1, you're okay, but we don't want to be below that. And we are well above that. We're around 14.9% in terms of current ratio, which is our assets to liabilities. And you're going to see that on the next sheet. Debt to asset ratio, this kind of flips. The yellow is up top and the blue is beneath in that final box there. And we don't want to be anywhere near the yellow line, which is around 0.90, and we're at about 0.20, very close. So we are in good shape financially. And it's just a quick view for you all to look at in terms of where we are financially. Enrollment, the orange line is where we are currently, and the blue is where we budgeted to be. And as you can see, this year in August, we budgeted around 470 students. We ended up with 450 students, and that carried all the way through January and February, which we usually take a small dip in those areas because we don't accept students after December. So our budget and our in terms of enrollment is going to be slightly off. And I kind of expected that this year. I did talk to y'all about that earlier this year, that we wanted to make sure we kept our current students, so that we could be consistent in our test scores, versus taking in a whole heap of new students, moving into the new building. We want to go into that new building with a B for sure. And so, but we'll see it increase dramatically. It already has. I think we have 254 on the wait list now. We do not have any more room in any grade except kinder, first, second, and third. Every other grade is full, 5th through 12th grade. We actually took in an additional 20 ninth graders. We only wanted to take an additional 10, but we had some excellent candidates, and so we took additional 20 students in that area. We are still working for kinder and first grade, which is where we want to have our big push at, because we want to start with the ground up kinders to move them through the school. That's where we want to get a majority of our students at. Right now we have 42 kindergartens that are accepted, so we're looking for another 30. This is still March now. Now, generally in June, you know, parents right now at that age, they're not even thinking about changing schools. Their child is in school, but I figure in around May and June, those parents will start again applying for those slots. So I don't think we're going to have a problem with 30 students. We had open house, 2 open houses. We had kindergarten day. From kindergarten day, we got 20 applicants. And so we've been really promoting and advertising. You're going to see some commercials on TV. You're going to see some spots online, Facebook, social media. Because we really want the push to get out there for J.S. Clark. For 14 years, we've kind of sat back and were quiet on the advertisement side, you know, but now it's time for us to spring forward, and to put our name out there across, not only St. Landry, but across the region. We're doing some great things here at J.S. Clark that everybody needs to know about. And we're a type 2 charter school, which means that we can get students from across the state, not just here in St. Landry. So we want to make that effort to market that to parents about the quality of education that their students will get here at J.S. Clark. Kind of got off track, sorry.
Question for you. You said we don't take students after December.
Yes.
What's rationale?
Well, one, we don't get their test scores. So after February 1, the student, we get a count for them for February 1 count. So in December, by the time we get in December, our lower school, K through 8, they're already pretty much in their dibbles, which means that we've already tested them twice. And then LEAP, we've already done 2 pre-assessment with them. So after we get them in, we take them after December, we're playing a catch-up game with that student to get them on track. And since we cannot control who comes in, it's a lottery situation. We don't know who we're going to get and what we're going to get. So we'd rather take a risk with the students we already have on roll than taking in new students to possibly bring down those scores. So that's the reason. And if they're in high school, they're already a year behind if they come in December, because that first semester is a year's worth of work, because we're on semesterization for high school, not yearly. So they would have missed English 1, they would have missed algebra, they would have missed all those things, and coming in December would be hard for them to catch up as a freshman, definitely. So that's the reason why. I mean, they could do it, it just would be a lot of work. It'd have to be a special kind of student to come in and do that kind of work. Budgets versus actuals. This is pretty much what you're seeing on those charts, right? Our total revenue year to date is $3.861814. The remaining that we have to spend is a little over $2 million, and we're at almost 40% of our budget. This is March. We have 3 months of school left, so we're at 40%. We're on track to remain on budget. Same thing with our expenditures. And as I said before, you know, when you saw that up and then dip in the enrollment, that's where this is going to be affected at, because now we're projected to be at a $251,000 deficit based on enrollment. But what that says is our budget will be able to, that doesn't mean cash. That means with total liabilities and assets, right? And so we'll be covered by what is currently in our budget with that deficit. And as I said, we're on track next year to be at 755 in terms of enrollment, which again will put back forth that those funds to be back on an even, well, we'll have a surplus again. For 13 years, we've seen a surplus. And this is the first year that we've seen a deficit in terms of any dollar amount. And again, I expected that because of what I said, wanted to make sure that we met the goal in terms of academics. But I can assure you that in the years coming, next year, we're gonna be back to, well, we're gonna be seeing a surplus. On the next sheet, our statement of financial position. This is our assets and liabilities here, spread out, as you see on the chart that matches up with our fund balance. And we're on track here as well. Again, we're at 87% of our budget year ending, which is, again, like I said, 39% before the end of the year. We are in good shape financially with over $5 million in our prior year of assets and liabilities. So we're not in any financial strain by any means. I know we have some things coming up, and our budget can handle those things. Again, my concern is always we want to make sure our bottom line is where we need to have it for our lenders and investors, not only for our current school, but even for future projects. The next sheet that you'll see are accounts receivable. These are all the grants that we've had come in. And I added this other piece here so you guys can see some of the kind of things that don't necessarily fit within the grants. We do have 3 new teachers coming in from out of the country again, so you'll see those relocation advances again, probably in August, just to help them get acclimated with what's happening in this country and to help them get settled. And then our federal grants, these are the reimbursements, and fourth sector has done a great job. It used to be that you would see those dates and stuff will be coming in when it was supposed to come in. They have done an excellent job at getting those reimbursements processed and delivered back into our account without us waiting months at end to get it back. So we're I really am happy about that. You can see our GL for that is up $431,000 that we've got back in already, and we're in March. So I'm excited about that. Usually we'd be around the 200,000 mark here, but we have gotten those requests in and gotten them back every single time, especially in the 21st century, which is the bulk of our grants. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Lewis about financials? Thank you for that extensive report, Ms. Lewis. And, now we know we don't have to go to Walmart to shake and can. All right, the next item is the 2026-2027 Gateway School Calendar. And we all have a copy of that.
This is our calendar for next school year for the K through 6 campus. The schedule for high school campus just came out today from SLCC, so I'll present that at the next board meeting because, you know, we correspond with SLCC. Our 7th graders will also be on that calendar with the exception of Christmas break and Thanksgiving. They will be in school when the high school gets out. They'll have an extra week to do on both of those. But this is K through 6th grade. Pretty much the same calendar we had last year, you know, except for the dates that, the progression of the dates in terms of year. And I thought this year's calendar was excellent. Worked out really well in terms of our progress reports and our grade reporting. And so we just kind of moved in the same direction with the schedule we had already.
The months here.
That's the days in that month. So like August 4th, the 5th, 6th, 7th.
So we start August 3rd next year?
Yes, this campus starts August 3rd. Well, there's a K through 3 parent orientation. They actually start on the 10th, I'm sorry. On the 10th.
All right, so orientation, okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So we incorporated that orientation in. We did that last year. It worked out amazing. That was for our new students and parents that had been to J.S. Clark, and it was great. So we just incorporated that back in to do that over the 2-week period with our new parents. And then on the 10th, we start with our new students. Any new students come on the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. That was, I would never take that out of the schedule again. That was amazing to have every new student show up, talk to them about the rules, the culture. It was a game changer for us. We didn't have some of the issues we had over the years by having that new student orientation and the parent one before that.
Thank you. All right, can I get a motion to adopt the new schedule, new calendar year?
I move to adopt the new schedule for the calendar year, new calendar year.
It's been moved and second that we adopt the Gateway calendar year for 2026, 2027. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? None. Thank you. All right. Again, thank you, Mr. Lewis, for all these color charts. All right. Any announcements? Before we adjourn, I just want to say a couple of things here. Number one, so good to see everybody at the meeting.
Yes.
Thank goodness. Glad to see you. Makes me feel good. Mr. Lewis, you have your seatbelt next time. And I received a call several weeks ago, and somebody informed me that we had a doctor in the house. Is that true?
Yes.
Is that true? Doctor?
Finally.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. All right.
And from
Happy
the
birthday.
And from the best school, the G,
Oh, here we go.
say from the best school, Brown State University.
We're gonna move right along.
And move.
Also, as we wrap up the basketball season, we like to give a big shout out to our girls basketball team that made it all the way to the finals.
Yes.
And did extremely well against a team that they were not projected to even be close to, and we only lost by 5. So congratulations to the girls, and boys had a good year as well. And we look forward to bigger and better things at the new school.
Absolutely.
All right. And anybody got a 6'7" kid that wants to come, give us a call.
Yep.
Yes,
Yes, you are.
All right.
I'm gonna bring my son, my grandson.
Bring him on.
He's 6'5".
We're not looking for a photographer, we're looking for players.